Let me see your shoulder lean on your shoulder lean on the shoulder. Look at that shoulder. Look at that shoulder. Hi guys, welcome back to That's So Thinkative. I'm your host Janelle, aka the baddest. I hope everyone is doing well. And in this episode, it's the first deep dive of the season, and it's of Eartha Kitt. I'm so excited to do this one. It was so fun learning about her, researching about her, reading a book about her. It was so fun actually. And I read Eartha and Kitt by Kitt Shapiro, which is her daughter. And it was such a beautiful book, such a beautiful read. And also read some things online about it. So I'm so excited to tell y'all what I learned. And if you haven't listened to a deep dive episode before, it's pretty informal. I'm going to just talk to you like I'm talking to my friend. So let's just get right into the tea. So boom. Eartha was born January 17th, 1927 in South Carolina. She was actually born Eartha Mae Keith, as that's what she thought, and then she later realized it was Kitt. She is a Capricorn sun for the astrology girlies. So if you're not into astrology, you're going to think I'm talking gibberish, but she was a Capricorn sun, Cancer moon, Sag rising, explains a lot, Aquarius Venus, Taurus Mars, and Capricorn Mercury. We have the same, so she has a Cancer moon, I have a Cancer moon, and it makes so much sense because she was such a loving and protective mother. So it's only fitting. It's only fitting. She used to believe that her birthday was January 26th, making her an Aquarius, but later on she realized, oh wait, I was born January 17th. So, and it made more sense because it's an earth sign, so it's of the earth, and her name is Eartha Kitt. Like, it's crazy how things flow. Her mom was Cherokee and black, and her dad was believed to be a white man who most likely raped her mother to conceive Eartha. Eartha's mom went to go live with a boyfriend after this, and this boyfriend, this man, did not like Eartha, did not want that little yellow gal in his house. So when Eartha's mom was kneeling to like stay with him or whatever, he told her she has to get rid of that kid in order for her to stay. And you know what she did? She got rid of her kid. And her kid Eartha went to go live with an aunt, and this aunt treated pretty much Eartha like the Southern Cinderella. She was pretty much the house slave and did everything that they didn't want to do, or all the things that they, just anything. And the two kids that lived there, a boy and a girl, would tie her to a tree for all day and just pretty much abuse her. She was in a pretty much abusive household, and her mom passed away suspiciously under some weird circumstances. It was supposedly that there was some red powder on some food that her mom ate or consumed, and she kind of like collapsed. And they brought Eartha to see her in her last moments. And it was just a very weird energy from what I was reading about and listening to in the book. And after this, someone sent word to Eartha's aunt who lived in New York, like, hey, you need to get little Eartha up out of here or they're going to kill this little girl. Because they're going to either kill her or work her to death. And the aunt, who really didn't want a kid, but felt like she was obligated to take this child because she was her aunt, I'm assuming from her mother's side, obviously. And she sent for her and sent her money to come to New York or to Harlem. Well, New York is in Harlem. Well, Harlem is in New York. And she sent for her, and when Eartha was going to Harlem or whatever, she put on all her clothes. So just imagine barely 5 foot woman, child, wearing all her clothes and just some bags, being shipped to a place she's never been to, and to someone she's never even met. She was obviously pretty much shaken up and things like that. But you would think that this aunt would probably be better, right? No. The aunt was just as bad. She obviously fed Eartha and kept her house and, took care of her financially, but she was not much of a mother figure. She was not kind. She was not doting. I think that's the word. I'm trying to try a new different word, so bear with me. Doting. Yeah, I know the word. Okay, just know I know the word and you know the word. We know the word. Okay, we'll figure it out. But yeah, she wasn't really that affectionate to Eartha, who never really experienced affection in her life at this point still. And this aunt pretty much took her in as like a religious kind of like dead or like religious moral ground kind of thing. And there was this one story where Eartha recalled that this aunt kind of misplaced some chocolate that a boyfriend of hers at the time had got her, and she blamed Eartha for it. She blamed Eartha, thinking that Eartha might have ate it or did something with it, yada yada yada. So she beat Eartha with an electric iron cord, giving Eartha a black eye. So she wasn't really any better. She was just as worse. And Eartha didn't really finish high school, but she did get into this school for dancing, and that's when she pretty much shined. So she joined the Catherine Dunham dance troupe in 1943 when she was about 16. She was a member for like 5 years, and this is where she toured over like so many different countries and stuff like that, all over the US, all over Mexico, South America, and Europe, yada yada yada. So she was super famous by the age of 23. She did Broadway, she acted. Her first role was Helen of Troy in Orson Welles' staging of Dr. Faustus in 1950. She's been in so many different iconic roles, like Catwoman. She was the first black woman to play that role, by the way. So before Halle Berry, she was in Holes. She did The Emperor's New Groove. She was in My Life as a Teen. She was so integral to our childhood, and you don't really realize it until you like look back and be like, damn, she was in that too. Like I knew she was in Emperor's Groove, but I just completely just like forgot. Like it was so amazing to be reminded of that, and I wanted to just go watch it again. Which Disney Plus, let's talk about you real quick. Why are y'all so greedy? Why do I need to be in the same household to use this? Just greedy for no reason. I'm mad because I can't watch Inside Out 2 because of this. And I'm not trying to buy Disney Plus again. Like I'm using somebody else's account. Shout out to Kayla. So, no. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. So, Eartha also sang. If I didn't mention that earlier, she was a really great singer. She had if you've ever heard her talk, she already has a really unique speaking voice, but her singing voice was just amazing. Some of the top songs she had was like Santa Baby, I Want to Be Evil, I'm a Funny Dame, which is one of my favorite songs. My ultimate favorite song is Annie Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and every time I listen to that song, it reminds me of, if you ever watched Diary of a Mad Black Woman by Tyler Perry, the part where she was like, Christina isn't here. Christina isn't here. Annie isn't here anymore. That is what that song gives, and I really love it. It's a 10 out of 10, beautiful song. Love it. So in 1966, all the way up into the early 2000s, she created the Kidsville Youth Foundation, which was a nonprofit organization for underprivileged youth in Watts area, which is where I'm from. And it's just so many intricate, how like things just like line up and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. That's so cool. So she did that in Watts, and she taught dance classes, art classes there. She would teach them how to be super proper, like learn about mannerisms and things like that. She was an advocate for the LGBTQ plus community. Every time I say that, I always think I'm gonna f it up, but it's LGBTQ plus community. LGBTQ. It's probably some more letters, and I know I'm probably forgetting it, but y'all know. There was one funny story that in the book that I read, which was Eartha and Kitt by Kitt Shapiro. Our daughter, by the way. She was talking about this chicken story. So Eartha really loved animals and was really passionate about like taking care of the earth and animals and stuff like that. And she had a lot of chickens in her house in Beverly Hills. And at the time, you weren't allowed to have chickens. So the local government, those folks, those little nosy probably Karens came in and they took her chickens. So you know what Eartha did? She walked her ass down to City Hall and she got those chickens back. She talked to the mayor and they found a statue that pretty much said that like she was allowed to have her chickens because she had it before that statue was even like a part of whatever. So there's that. Now I would be doing this whole thing a disservice if I don't talk about the White House incident. So back in January 18, 1968, one day after her birthday, so January 18th, one day after her birthday, Kitt was invited to this like luncheon by the First Lady and the President. And this was during the Vietnam War that started in 1955 and ended in like 1970-ish or whatever. And Lady Bird was going on at this luncheon talking about crime prevention starts at home and we should trust the police, yada, 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 because there was a lot of like hoopla going on at this point. Like a lot of young kids were, going off, right? And, all the other people there was agreeing with her and like, yeah, crime prevention starts at home. Yeah. Eartha looking at these people like, nah, buddy, that's not the issue here. That's not the real reason why we're here. And Eartha felt like the people that were there were more impressed with like the table setting and like the pictures and the frames and the fact that this the First Lady here than actually talking about the real issues. And so she got her 5-foot self up and she asked the First Lady, quote unquote, let's quote her real quick. She said, "You send the best of this country off to be shot and maimed. No wonder the kids rebel and take pot." And her criticizing the president and the First Lady in the Vietnam War caused a whole hoopla. Apparently the First Lady cried, right? Eartha said that she don't remember her actually seeing her cry, but the media, went around and said that the First Lady was extremely upset. It later came out that pretty much Lyndon B. Johnson, the president at the time, was the most offended. He was actually like, oh, who is this? Who does she think she's talking to? And so he asked the CIA to find something out on her immediately because that's not just not how it was going to happen, for his reason. And so the CIA comes out with this report calling her some really awful things and just really strange that the government spent time doing on tax dollars money, spent time trying to research about someone's personal life, about someone who's just voicing their opinions about a war that we shouldn't have been in. Anyways, I digress. It was just absolutely disgusting, but this setback kind of like portrayed her as someone who was anti-American and yada yada yada. So she was not able to work in the U.S. for a really long time. She ended up taking her and her daughter out to the overseas to find work because she was not getting booked, so she was being blacklisted and she wasn't able to really make any money in the U.S. Eartha married John William McDonald in 1960 on June 9th, and they had a daughter named Kitt McDonald, now Kitt Shapiro, born on November 26, 1961. And the cutest thing in the book that Kitt wrote, the daughter wrote, is that the way Eartha would introduce her and her daughter. So Eartha would be like, "I'm Eartha and this is Kitt." And I thought that was so cute. So yeah, Eartha and her daughter were super close and traveled the world together. They were like really like the best of friends, and not just best of friends, but obviously, Eartha is her mom and, as such and stuff, but they were really close. Eartha and McDonald, her husband at the time, split in 1963 when Kitt was just 3, and they divorced in 1964 when Kitt was 4. Eartha never married after that. She was done with this. She was like, yeah, I'm done. She never really dated that much either. If you've listened to any books or yeah, you can listen to books, Audible, yeah. So any books or any, read anything or I've seen anything on YouTube about her, like, the whole compromise situation, she's been known to be very outspoken about that and knowing and showcasing her independence and not really relying on a man for anything. And I think she taught her daughter just that. She was strict as a mom, proper, and she also didn't curse, which I thought was really fascinating. She didn't curse unless it was in French because she spoke So many different languages, by the way. So many different languages. We're going to talk about that in a bit, but she had a thing about ladies chewing gum in public. She was really adamant about being ladylike and carrying herself as such. She taught her daughter about how to be, how to embrace her uniqueness, her confidence. And one of the things that I really liked that they mentioned in the book was like these Kittisms. These were little sayings or mantras or just things of knowledge and wisdom that Eartha would say all the time. And one of the things that I thought, one of the Kittisms that I really liked or enjoyed was walk around like a peacock with your chest held high because you are everything to everybody and you belong everywhere you want to be. And there were so many Kittisms in the book that Kitt Shapiro wrote, and I just loved them. Every time I saw it, like I would write some down just to keep on me just now because like I just thought they were so helpful. Oh my God, there was this crazy story that they said in the book where Eartha saw this man choking and she went to go help him or whatever, and she ended up like saving his life, and she got put in jail because it was during the Jim Crow era. You know, they saw a black woman helping a white man and they was like, oh no, prison immediately. And when they found out who she was, they released her. So very crazy, very crazy. Another interesting story that I read where Eartha was trying to teach her daughter independence or making sure that her daughter was independent was when Kitt was out at a party when she was like 15 and she stayed too late or whatever, and the girl that she was with got in trouble with her parents. But when Kitt kind of told her mom what happened, she kind of like flipped it to like, lie a little bit so she wouldn't get in too much trouble. So she said that the reason why they were late and missed curfew was because the people that they went with wasn't ready to go home when they wanted to go home. So they had no choice but to stay because that was their only ride. Eartha bought her a car the next day. And she had a car at 15 because she was like, my daughter is not going to have to depend on anybody. And she didn't like that thought. So she wasn't grounded. She got a car out of the situation, which I thought was really crazy. Eartha was an extremely curious and naturally curious kind of person. She loved to be intellectually stimulated. She loved birds. She loved nature. She loved water. She loved to garden. She was Eartha. She was of the earth. She loved to travel over the world and ask different people random questions. So she would ask taxi drivers or, waitresses, waiters, what is their life like? What are their views on their government, on their state, on the state of the country, just how they're feeling. And she would make it a point to learn a folk song from that country that she was visiting. And this is one of the reasons why she could sing in like 7 languages and she spoke in 4. She was amazing, and I think one of the things that excited me the most about learning more about her is just how much I can relate to her. Seeing just how curious she is about everything, it just makes me I love people who are curious because I consider myself a very curious person. I love to learn about every little thing. I want to know more, and it was just so interesting to see which way she would go out of her way learning about this. Because when I am in Ubers, I usually am quiet. I'm not gonna hold you for the most part. But recently I was talking to this man who was from Armenia, I think, yeah, and learning about what he liked. And it just I don't know, I just felt like Eartha in that moment, just feeling like, wow, like it's so interesting to learn about all these different people and what they came from and what they learned and what they've seen and just how different they see life, because we all see life so differently. But enough about that. Let's get back to Eartha. So Eartha, like I said, was super curious. She loved to watch birds, so she would actually research about birds, which is like that's something I do. Like if I saw something, I'm like, what is that? I want to learn more, so I'll go figure it out, and I love that. So she was pretty much a sponge, and she enjoyed learning about different things and people, and just putting herself out there in that way. Contrary to popular belief, she was actually extremely shy. If you see her in interviews, you would never think that, because she's so just extroverted and just flirty and flirtatious and kind and just charming. But underneath that, she was extremely shy. And it was really interesting to see her talk about that. I posted a video about that on my Instagram at That's So Thinkative if you want to check it out, where she was talking about how people think of her as this way, which is Eartha Kitt. But she's Eartha May, and most of the time she's trying to hide and just cover herself up and stuff like that. So it was really interesting seeing that, because I think we all have those moments where we feel like we just want to hide away from the world. And I consider myself someone who's grown into themselves. I used to be kind of shy or kind of reserved, but if you know me, you see me now, I'm a yapper. Can't shut me up now. Eartha was performing for a long time, even like a few months before she passed away. She had one performance, her last performance was 90 minutes, and shortly before that they didn't even think she was going to go on, but she made it, her family didn't think she was going to go on, her mom, her daughter, and her crew didn't think she was going to go on because she was in so much pain. She ended up going on and she performed a great show for 90 minutes, and then once she got off that, she kind of collapsed and was tired and wore out, and they had to cancel a lot of upcoming shows after that. During the later part of her life, she spent it with her daughter, who was always near her. They never lived too far apart from each other, and she actually passed away from colon cancer on Christmas Day in 2008 with her daughter in her home in Connecticut. Her daughter was actually with her. It was Eartha, her daughter, and her daughter's husband. According to her daughter, she left this world screaming. Same way she came in this world is the same way she left it. I'm gonna quote what she said, because she spent the last few days with her mother before her death. This is what Kitt Shapiro said. But when she left the world with a bang. She left it how she lived it. She screamed her way out of here, literally. I truly believe her survival instincts were so part of her DNA that she was not going to go quietly or willingly. It was just the two of us hanging out during the last days. She was very funny. We didn't have to talk because I always knew how she felt about me. I was the love of her life. So the last part of her life, we didn't have to have these heart-to-heart talks. She started to see people that weren't there. She thought I could see them too. But of course I couldn't. I would make fun of her, like, I'm going to go in another room and let you stay here and talk to your friends. And she passed away at the age of 81. Eartha's legacy is profound. It's unlike any other. To come from what she came from and to be what she became, it's amazing. Her relationship with her daughter kind of like really makes me feel really good inside, because I feel like it's the same relationship I have with my mom. And me and my mom are super close. If you guys listen to the last episode, you can tell. It felt so good to hear about their relationship and how much they loved and adored each other and admired each other and allowed each other to be themselves around each other. It's the same kind of relationship I have with my mom, and I'm just so grateful for that. And I'm just so grateful for Eartha's legacy and what she done with her life. She made a beautiful life out of it, and it's just so amazing to see and to learn. And I was so in awe and so amazed learning more about her. So it was great. I'm going to leave this episode off with one of her Kittisms that I really enjoyed, and that is, every day is a gift. Every day is a blessing. Thank you guys so much for listening to this first deep dive of the season. I'm so grateful and so thankful. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, comment, rate, subscribe, follow, whatever you like. I'm everywhere you listen to podcasts. I'm on Instagram and TikTok at That's So Thinkative. I'm so thankful. So thank you. See you next Tuesday. Yay. Bye.